something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I'm excited tonight because I have Miss Carol here. I have a female, a woman who's going to tell her story tonight. And then I have Art Smith back again to talk about the 5th Ward series. He is Mr. 5th Ward, bringing us people to tell their stories, to inspire and educate you about the criminal justice system seen through the eyes of 5th Ward, Texas. So let's talk about it tonight. Let's talk about Miss Carol. I'm excited. We don't get many women that have time to come and volunteer to tell their stories for one reason or another. I told Art that. I said, good, you got a woman, but it's hard to get the women. It's hard to get the women. I've been doing this for 7 years. It's hard. So thank you for your courage.
Amen.
And being willing to share your experiences. So hopefully we can turn somebody's life around or educate them about what they're going through. So tell me about you, Carol. Where are you from?
I'm from Hardy.
Harding, Texas?
Yes. No, Hardy Street.
Oh, Hardy Street. All right. Now, Hardy Street. We still in 5th Ward, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hardy Street. All righty. Talk about your upbringing for me. Now, Hardy Street is Hardy?
That's it.
Hardy Street.
That's
okay.
it.
All right. But that's not where all the controversy that's going on in Houston with the police officers, that was Harding, wasn't it?
Yes, Harding.
I think that street is Harding. That's not the same street.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's a different street.
Yes, Harding is on
South side?
Yeah, south by Milby High School in that area.
Okay, it's a different side. So tell me about getting raised on Hardy Street in 5th Ward.
Well, I was raised up with my mother and my father also.
Okay, 2 parents, that's good.
Yes.
How many siblings?
7.
Oh, so 7 kids. How would you describe your life growing up?
Well, I describe it as good.
So what number are you in the children? Are you the oldest, youngest?
Second to the oldest.
Okay. So did that give you more responsibility as a child?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. And how did that affect you? Did you go to school normally? Did you like school? Tell me about that.
I enjoyed school. I played in everything in school. So I didn't have no problem with school.
Okay. Tell me when you started having problems.
When I was about 16.
All right, 16. Okay, that's when girls start kind of feeling themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened at 16?
I found some new friends.
And
I thought I was grown, so I started traveling with my new friends on the weekend.
where were you traveling?
To California.
Traveling to California at 16?
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
quit school?
No, I lied to say I was spending the night at my friend's house.
And you go all the way to California?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Y'all would drive all the way to California?
We caught flights, first class.
Oh, okay. So y'all was hustling for real?
Yes, ma'am.
At 16?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell me about that experience. And you waved from 16 now, so we can talk about that.
Yes, we can. Well,
I mean, did y'all have sponsors to pay for y'all to go, or did you have men folk to do it? Or, I mean, how would a 16-year-old get on a flight to California first class?
we had big sponsors.
Oh, y'all had big sponsors? Can you tell us about it?
A little bit by some.
Oh, you don't have to use their real names or anything.
Okay,
you, know,
well, we
you don't
had
have to
some-
tell a real story, but you don't have to you don't have to drop people in the grease.
No,
and
I
say,
ain't gonna drop
say his
nobody
name is
in the
John, you know, Art Smith or nothing. You don't have to say. you don't have to. You don't have to let
I'm
Coffee
gonna
know.
use Paul.
Okay, use Paul. Yeah, you can use aliases.
Okay,
you know.
I'm gonna say Paul.
All I need is that the story be the truth.
Okay.
The names can be changed to protect the innocent,
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
most
Or to
definitely.
protect the guilty. But anyway.
That's a good one now.
Okay. So Paul was the sponsor. So was Paul more like a boyfriend or a pimp or a human trafficker? I mean, how would you describe Paul, your relationship?
Boyfriend. He was a friend at first, then became boyfriend.
Was he an older man?
Yes, ma'am.
Too old to be dating a 16-year-old?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Because they put him in jail for that now.
Yeah, they do. But they knew back then.
They didn't do that back then. All right, so Paul, why would Paul take you to California?
Because Paul needs some help
Okay, and doing what?
in delivering his packages.
Okay, could you take things like that on the plane back then?
Yes, ma'am, you could.
Or in your luggage, on your body? I mean, how could you do it?
Everywhere.
Okay. So at 16, you started helping Paul deliver packages.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that go from there? Tell me about that experience.
Well, it went from there to going to other states.
Let me just say this, like if you go to California on somebody else's territory, from what I learned from when I was doing criminal defense, a few cases that I had, I mean, people would get killed from other states. I remember a lot of people, I've represented people for murder and ag robbery and things because somebody came here from another state trying to do a little business and, you know, they went into the wrong territory.
But Paul wasn't from here.
Oh, he wasn't from here. Where was he from?
He was from all over, so he been doing business from state to state.
So how would he happen to meet a little 16-year-old in Houston?
Through another friend of mine. Well, he know this other girl went to school with, so she introduced me to him.
Okay, so
And
she was
that's
in the
how-
game with him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so she was just telling me how I can make some fast little change.
So how would that just seemed like a bold step for a 16-year-old just going to school every day. Tell me how you had the courage. You must have already been doing some stuff, Miss Carol.
No, I wasn't doing nothing, really.
You wasn't? So, how would you have the nerve to do that?
I wasn't scared.
Okay.
I never been scared of nothing.
Okay. All right.
And so I just wanted to peek what they was doing. I seen what they was having. I seen how Paul pulled up. Really, that would caught my eye. Not about her, but about Paul.
Pulling up in a nice car? Or...
Yes, ma'am.
So were you thinking like, damn, if I get caught doing this, I'm going to jail?
No, I ain't had jail on my mind.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Paul never talked to you about that?
Mm-hmm. We ain't discussed no jail. We wasn't talking about no jail. I was talking about how much more money I can get.
Okay. All right. All right. So your mother thought you would spend the night with somebody on the weekend, or your parents thought so, but you were going all the way to California or other states.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that go before you got caught?
Oh, Lord. I got caught, I guess 9 months later.
Oh, 9 months later?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds like a baby, 9 months later.
Mm-hmm. That's when I got on the chain gang.
Okay, so were you 17 or still 16?
I was still 16.
So the chain gang you took then was juvenile?
Mm-hmm.
In Houston or somewhere else?
Here.
Yeah, we was in West Dallas together,
Mm-hmm.
1982.
Oh, 1982, y'all, that's how y'all first met?
Yeah.
Yes.
We was in, we actually, my mom came to visit, my mom and my dad came to visit me, and her mom came to visit her.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom and her mom knew each other. And they started talking. And so around October, we ended up on a chain gang together, headed to Brownwood, which was like 600 miles away from here.
Wow.
And so at 5 in the morning, we left West Dallas. It was girls and boys. It was probably about 12 of us. And she was older than me. But I was 13. She was like 16. And so we ended up leaving here on the chain gang in 1982 together.
And you were 13. I just can imagine how little you were when you were 13 years old, because you got a little dog.
Yeah.
I bet you looked like you was about 9 when you were 13.
Yeah, I was smile.
You had to be. I bet you didn't weigh but 100 pounds probably.
Yeah, probably about 100. About 100
Boy, you
pounds.
had to go to Brown fighting. I know you had to go there with your little bitty
Yeah.
self. Because I mean, you never got real big. You know what I mean? You're not like fat or overweight or anything like that. So, wow. Can you imagine being 13 and 16? And y'all calling it chain gang when y'all were juveniles.
Yeah,
That
we was
sound like
all on the chain
Yes, we
gang.
was all
they
on
were
the chain
holding y'all
gang.
on chain.
We got in the van, the 15 passenger van, shackled from the feet.
Yeah,
and
chain
the
gang for
hand.
real.
I'm talking about on the whole ride,
Yeah, it was like
all
you
the way to Brownwood.
all the way to
Yeah.
Brownwood.
So what if y'all had to pee or something? Go to
we
the
had to
bathroom?
we had to go in there 2 by 2 and handcuff while the other person used the restroom.
And you still handcuffed?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
So how you use the restroom with handcuffed to other people?
that's how they had it. And I just happened to be using the restroom with a guy that had to do the number 2 instead of the number 1. So you know my day wasn't good at all. Headed to Brownwood, you know.
Oh, that's not good at all.
But one of the things I can say that from the time of just knowing about her, about Carol, from day one, you know what I'm saying, and knowing about the stories, and at the time they was from Hardy Street and Collinsworth Apartments right there off 59 in Collinsworth. it's just that, you know, when we did meet and see and talk each other and on the chain gang and everything, I think we probably was kind of like, I don't know her story, but it was kind of like we was on a crash course to death.
Oh,
it was
wow.
it was like no fear, going all out, waking up every day on suicide missions is what I call it. I'm talking about just going to do whatever to get the money at that age, you know. So, you know, I don't know what the whole vibe was, but when we left here, we were some individual that was ready to die. It don't really matter. It was just, it was
In 1982?
Oh yeah, it was a whole nother world. I lost respect for human life at like 11. Ended up getting locked up at 13. It's just that we was running with real monsters. Real killers.
monsters.
Yeah, real killers
Real.
every day, all day.
Yeah.
It was about just how much money you can make in at all costs. That's basically what I
And you
put it.
buying stuff that people grown couldn't buy.
Whoa.
And people selling it to you.
Wow.
That's 40, 50.
Wow. But at 13, you are on the chain gang with Carol Ann, and y'all 16 and 13. That's deep.
Yeah.
But y'all can't be thinking this is cool now that y'all chained up from the hand to the head and can't even use the bathroom without on no chains. That had to wake you up a little bit, right?
No.
Not really, because the next mission was, it was like taking the show on the road. It was like, okay, we in the jail cell, we bought it. You know what I'm saying? We bought it. We hearing about who's squabbling while we in West Dallas. So now it's all about taking this show on the road. It wasn't no, man, what's gonna be? It was like, man, we finna go down here and control everything. We finna go down here and mash on everything. We finna, I'm talking about, when you really, really, truly not living in fear, out of 5thWard, off of Hardy, if you for real about it, when it was time to go to Brownwood, it was like, man, whoever the baddest in Texas, bring it on. We coming. It was like that. It was like a train wreck.
So, and all of y'all had that same mentality.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all were like a real chain gang going down there about to do some bad.
Yeah.
Y'all not about to take no prisoners. Y'all
we went
y'all
down
not
there.
gonna get whooped.
No, we went down there on a mission.
Y'all not about to get punked and
No,
sodomized.
we went down there
none of that, huh?
we went down there. It wasn't no rape. All that stuff wasn't even nowhere in the picture.
No.
We was leaving here going to go take over something.
We was taking officers.
Yeah. I always had, man, it was, we was a real, when they say Houston biggest problems, we was Houston's biggest problem getting on that bus, headed up out of here. Yeah.
They were doing what we say. We would leave off the campus and go get what we want to eat. It was like what we say.
What?
Oh, it was serious. Yeah.
How'd y'all run them like that?
We gave them what they want.
Money or whatever.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was
So
a
the
whole
people
lot
that
of
were in
corruption.
that's why they closed that facility down,
Yeah,
right? With the juveniles.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Then
corruption.
they didn't have no fence. People leave, come, go,
Yeah.
everything.
They made y'all go to school though, didn't they?
Yeah, we was in the state
Yeah,
school.
we was in state school.
You went to what? Which state school you went to?
I went to
Gatesville? Gatesville, and I went to Giddings. You know, and
So what was Brownwood? Just where you started?
Brownwood was a facility where you go for 2 weeks. It was an orientation holding facility.
So it's 2-week orientation.
Yeah, that was gonna train you up and get you ready for wherever you was getting ready to go do your time. At that time, is Gainesville or Gatesville?
Gatesville.
Gatesville's where the girls
yeah, that was
went, right?
where all the females went. But on Giddings was where they had male and female. And it was for all the violent offenders. That's what Giddings was for.
Okay, so everybody was violent. And so your crime wasn't considered violent, Carol Ann?
No. It
Because it was
wasn't
drugs?
considered.
Is that why?
Yeah, but it wasn't considered violent. But they put you with people that's violent.
Oh, they did? Wow.
They didn't care. They mixed everybody together. They didn't care if they was crowded over here. They put them over here. It wasn't no.
So tell me about the girl experience in Gatesville. Tell me about that. Was that a lot of violence, rape, prostitution? I mean, tell me about the bad part of it.
Well, the bad part of it when the officers be sleeping with the girls.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cold.
That was bad. That was bad. And see, you can make a man do whatever you want him to do. Just tease him or go behind the shower. Because they had places where they couldn't see, where cameras couldn't see. Still do to this day. And that's the only bad. What really got bad when everybody started getting pregnant.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if these are little girls, they don't have no birth control, so they gonna get pregnant by all the guards,
A lot
right?
of people had babies.
Bodyguards. Did you have a baby bodyguard?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But sex was going on away from the camera.
Yes, ma'am. And then when people come on campus, come there and visit you, you know, like your family come, well, my friend, he lied and said he was my uncle.
Paul.
And so we get the,
Is that Paul? Paul.
so we got away with it for a while until I think my folks called down there or somebody called down there. And they said, oh, brother been visiting our uncle. That ain't our uncle. And next thing you know, they walked him off.
Wow.
Off the thing. Well, they found out then. Because then he was making my escape.
He was trying to make you escape.
Yeah, I was going to leave. He was going to kidnap me. I was going to leave that place and go.
Yeah, what happened?
They walked him off. They found out first. So I had to go to another place and be
Where'd you have to go?
secured. They put me in lockdown. So they had to watch
At
me.
Gatesville, but in lockdown. Okay,
So
so
they
then you
had to
couldn't
watch
get
me.
any visitors. How long did you have to stay in Gatesville?
I stayed about 3 months, I think, or 6 months, something like that. Round up and down. It wasn't long. I didn't stay long because the judge didn't send me so long at all.
Oh, okay, so you didn't stay but 3 months? Okay, well, that's not too bad. But they sentenced you for more than 3 months, so why would you stay there? So then after that, you were on probation or something?
I didn't do no probation.
Huh?
I didn't do that probation.
Oh, you weren't going to do the probation? Okay.
I got the probation, but I didn't do it.
Okay. As a juvenile?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then tell me about life after that. So after you leave Gatesville, you leave the juvenile detention center, what do you do after that? Do you go back home to your parents? Do you go to Paul, the grown man? I mean, what
Yes, you have to go back home to your parents. That's when they're going to let you out. You know, you got to make up this fake little saying, this little paper you got to read. Oh, I'm going to be good, and all this, tell this story. Like you change and things and all this stuff and get into a little program like jazz exercise and do swimming, get into a little volunteering stuff so you can get out. So you're going to do what you can to get out, basically.
Right.
And so once I got out, my thing was to get back with Paul. But I think Paul had got caught up, went to jail for something. So I couldn't see him no more. So I went home. I stayed home for a little while. I got pregnant with my son.
So your son is your oldest child?
No, my daughter is my oldest child. But I got pregnant when I left. I had a baby before that. But when I left.
So you had a baby before 16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But when I got out, I settled for a little while. And I got pregnant with my son.
Well, let's go back to the child. So when you was running off saying you spent the night with a friend, where was your baby?
With my mama.
Okay. All right. No problem. Okay, so now we get out, you're down with Paul, you have your son, and you settle down for a little while. With the baby's dad? With your son's father, or you just settled down
I
to
was just
slow
visiting
down?
him a little bit.
Huh?
I visited him a little bit.
You're just slowing down a little bit. Okay, but then you caught a lot of drug cases. So then
I didn't want to get in trouble. Oh, that's when I got grown. I caught some drug cases.
Okay, so then when did you start doing other things? Because I think you started getting adult cases in '83 is what I see, and probably in 1983.
Then after I got the first case I got, I don't know if you got that one on there.
I might not
First
have
case that I ever got
I might
in
have
life.
Because I don't have the juvenile stuff. I can't access juvenile.
No, they're not going to get,
Yeah, I don't have
because of different reasons about
Right.
that and different people.
Right.
But
And different
after
names.
that, yes,
And different names.
yes.
I see all these names you lose. Miss Parker, Miss Renee, Miss Louise,
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Cheryl, Miss Haynes. I see these names. So anyway, now they put them all together. Now, with fingerprints and ID, now they go back and put all your
Oh,
different
yes, they do. And
aliases
then they
together.
try to use the first one.
Yeah.
But once they get your little ID and find out
Oh yeah,
which
no.
one, oh, no.
They pulled all your stuff
Every-
together now. Oh no,
Yes,
you
sir.
all pulled together, baby.
I know I
So
am.
we have it out. So on those first cases, so you got caught up in stings.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but these little cases were misdemeanors, so you didn't do long on those. So you got a lot of little stings. So you learned how to play the game, and then it looks like that's all from 83, 84, 85, 86, and then 87 is unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. So that means you're driving a stolen car or it's a cracked car or something like that. Do you remember that case? It got
Yes,
dismissed. but-
Yes, it did, because it wasn't stolen.
Okay, so what was the deal with that car?
That's the case that I got that I had to go to the federal courts for. So
Oh,
they put
okay.
it as a stolen car.
But it's in state court. It started in state court. Maybe they transferred it to federal.
It started in federal court, then it transferred to state.
Okay. And why? Do you remember why it started in federal court?
Yes, because I got caught with 84,000. I got caught with 84,000.
$84,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. No, okay. So they made it federal. But did you have a federal case?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Because, you know, they can, asset forfeiture, they can seize the money and not really charge you with the case. So that's why I'm asking that. So you
Yes,
got
only thing I did when I walked in there with Mark Villa, he told me just nod my head and walk back out. I would walk back out the same day. And that's all I did. Nod my head, and everybody split the money. And I walked back outside.
Well, and who split the money? I'm talking about who split the police
I mean, people.
that you were working with? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so that's that case. But is it actually a case, though? Was it actually a case?
No, only way you get information about that case, you have to go way up in there. Because it's always going to show the vehicle. It ain't going to show nothing else.
About the 84,000. But it was really
Unless
about
you
the
go.
84,000.
Now, who had the case all was parole. When I made parole, they asked me about the money.
Okay. All right, and so what about, after that, it's a possession of crack cocaine under 28 grams, because that's the way it used to be decided, and that was in 1991. In 1991, for the educational purposes, it was considered, like right now, it's, you know, cocaine is weighed differently and the categories of crimes are differently, but back then it was under 28 grams. Anything under 28 grams was 0 to 28 grams was a third-degree felony. Then more than 28 grams was second degree, and it went up. And even if it was just a crack rock or just a little bit of speck, you would have to go to prison for it. And that's when the prisons got way, way overcrowded back then. Because you could be a habitual criminal. Every time you go to jail, it could be just for a little bit of crack or a little bit of powder. That's before they created the state jail felonies. I'm just talking about the categories under the law. In 1991, it wasn't under a gram. You know, cocaine under a gram.
I didn't go to prison for...
No, I'm just educating. I'm just talking about the law itself. You were charged with under 28 grams, but I'm just saying the laws are not written like that now. They split it up in smaller quantities.
Yes.
Like under 1 gram is a state jail felony. At the time in 1991, when you got in trouble with this, they didn't have state jail felonies back then.
No, ma'am.
That's the part I'm saying. So it looks like they sent you to prison. But they gave you probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it says, so from 1991 to 1995, so I guess you were on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
And then in 1993, it looks like there's another possession under 28 grams. In 1996, there's a delivery of 4 to 200 grams.
Yeah, that's when
that's when the categories start changing.
Because I had more.
Yeah, you had more. But now 4 to 200, where before it was under 28 grams, so then it went from under a gram is a state jail felony, which is up to 2 years in prison. Then it went to, if you had from 1 to 4 grams, it was a third-degree felony. And then from 4 to 200 grams, depending on what it was, then it was a second-degree felony. So you got charged with this second-degree felony, and the bond was higher. So do you remember what happened with that case? I didn't get the dispositions. I just
Yes, I got time for that case.
Did you actually go to prison for that?
No, I went to pre-release for that.
But you stayed your time in Harris County Jail?
No, I went to this place called Lockwood. It was like a school, and I did 11 months there and came home.
All right, and you were on parole at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then you had a couple of forgery cases. Do you remember that? Like 2001, 2003? And did you have to go to prison for those?
No, I went to prison for organized crime for those.
Organized crime? All right. Oh, I don't have organized crime on here.
That's what the forgeries was all.
Oh, okay. But they called them forgeries. They didn't call it organized crime on the paperwork that I'm looking at. So maybe when the plea bargain came, they changed it from organized crime to forgery.
Yes, I did.
That's what because they don't have what it's charged with. They just have how it was disposed of. Like when you actually pled guilty, I guess they reduced it to forgery.
Yes.
So was other people caught up in this case at one point? When it was organized crime, it would have to be about 3 people.
Yeah, they was, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
They charged other people? Okay, and then it looks like in 2007, it was a possession 1 to 4 grams, and that's it. So that one was in 2007. Do you remember what happened with that?
Yes, I went to, 2007, I stayed in the county and made parole.
So when you would go to jail, I know you say you have 10 children. When you go to jail, who would keep your kids?
Their grandparents.
Okay. All right. And so you say you have 9 kids. We have 10 kids, 1 stepchild. So tell me about how that happened. So were you married at one point, or did you adopt somebody? Did you take somebody in? Like where?
No, I was never married. All of my kids except for one.
Okay. But how did you say this one is yours? Why did you say that?
Oh, because he came when he was, oh Lord, he was little. He been with me for most of all his life.
Okay.
That's my baby.
But I'm just, do you understand what? Help me with. I'm trying to explain it.
Yeah, like the different ones, like when you had like you got how many girls and how many boys?
Oh, I got 5. It's 5 boys and 5 girls all together.
Yeah, so when you go off to prison or go off to a state jail for a certain amount of time, who kept the kid? They all just separated today.
The grandparents.
Yeah.
Your mother kept them all?
Yeah, and their grandparents, and their dad and mama too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how many children live with you now?
Nobody.
What? They all
Everybody
grown?
grown. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. 10 kids is grown. That's good. And nobody lives with you?
No one.
But a lot of times kids still live at home.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you explain to your children going in, when you've gone in and out of jail, how did you explain that to them? What kind of relationship do you have with your kids, I guess is what I'm trying to
We have
get
a
you to
very
talk about.
beautiful relationship.
They're not mad at you for going to jail or leaving them or not going to...
They'll tell you about jail better than me.
Why?
Because just how I raised them. I mean, it wasn't how we live. Mm-hmm. Even though I hustled, they had the best of everything. It wasn't for them to hustle. I hustled.
Okay.
They went to school, they got educated, and then their dad came home. He picked up, you know what I'm saying, and he made sure. But it just, when you leave, the most dangerous thing is when you leave your kids and you be in prison, is who got your kids.
Absolutely. Because you could have somebody molesting them, or they could be out doing wrong themselves. They might not be taken care of. Their protection is gone when their mother's gone.
So
And you're their protection.
that's the most dangerous thing, and that's the most hurting part of it. Because people you thought would do right by them would do wrong. Because some people have built up jealousy, envy, strife, because they can have what you have or do what you do. So they'll tell your kids all about everything you done did wrong. Not what you did right. Oh, your mama and daddy hustle. Just everything. Oh, they did it like this, and next thing you come home, you got to derail all this stuff from your kids, because now they doing the same thing you was doing.
Right.
Following in your footsteps.
Because it's evil, God, keep my mouth. Telling them all kind of crazy stuff.
Like what? Just saying crazy stuff doesn't help me
Okay,
visualize what you're talking about.
Well, you got people put drugs in their hand.
Put drugs in your children's hand?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't do it to somebody's child, but they'll do it to yours.
Like what? Somebody put some drugs in your daughter's hand?
No,
them to
not in
sell
my
it?
daughter's hand, in my son's hand.
And put in your son's hand and tell him to sell it?
Yeah, tell them this how your mama and daddy hustle, and this you want to get some money, this quick way to get some money. Not saying go to school, do this, or go by the right way.
Uh-huh.
They want them to
do the wrong thing.
Yeah, do the wrong thing. 8th straight students playing football, you take them to destroy them, not to help them.
Right.
So this where the anger and build-up come from different people you have at people.
So one of the dangers and one of the hurtful things that you experienced was people that you thought would make your children do the right thing, go to school, not sell drugs, not do what your parents have done. They actually telling them, go hustle like your parents. Mm-hmm. And you found that out. But
Yeah, my kids told me.
They would tell you, would they go hustle like they told them to?
Yeah, they went hustle. How they gonna eat and get their little money? They got their little money to take care of them, buy their own clothes. That's how they started hustling.
So people told them to do that. And so how would you deal with that when you come home from jail?
Well, I'll be on parole. The only way you can deal with it, if you want to be safe and not go to jail, you have to let some stuff ride. And you got to pick up and do what you need to do for your own sanity and for your kids.
Right.
So when I come home, I'll get all my kids taken from. I don't give a damn who got them. I take them all from everybody. And I do whatever I need to do to take care of them.
Right.
So they won't be hurting, because they miss me.
Right.
And I miss them.
Right. Right. I know they missed you when you were gone.
So
But that is like when you were young and you could do it and you didn't have a lot of kids. But once you had kids, what's some of the things that have changed your life? So how did you change your life from being a hustler to stopping the hustle? or trying to change, move your life in a different direction?
In a better direction. My kids, because I didn't want them to keep traveling down the road that I traveled down. Or see them get hurt in prison, because prison ain't fun. I used to walk in, walk out. Back then, you think it's fun, But as you get older, everything, you want better. You always want better for your kids, because that's the reason why you was hustling, have money to do better. But you want them to get it the right way, not to see the same things that you seen. So what made me really snap is when my mother, she had passed. I remember when God told me that she was sick. I woke up one day, and then their grandma had wrote me a letter. Their dad, mom, and she said, them kids miss you, they crying every day. She was telling me, a lot of stuff you wouldn't take in, you didn't think it would bother you. One day I woke up, I couldn't even raise up.
In prison?
My body was just, I couldn't move. They had to literally pack me and had to have the light flight me to the hospital.
Be strong, sister.
Yeah.
Stay strong, baby. I stay strong. I didn't mean to bring you there, but sometimes we have to cry to get that nastiness out of us. You know what I mean? You gotta purge yourself. I hate to cry, it makes my head hurt, but then afterwards I feel better. Get that out of you. So at one point it hit you, you couldn't get up, and they had to life flight you. What prison were you in at that time?
Gatesville. I was in Gatesville. I was on Terrace.
So they had to life flight you to a hospital. And what was wrong? Did they find out what was wrong?
I'll never forget, 3 doctors had came in, and then this young doctor came in. He said, I think it's just a migraine headache.
I think a migraine can do that, where you can't pick your body up off the bed.
Yeah, because they had to dress me. The officers had to dress me. They put the clothes on me and everything. And when they took me to the hospital, they kept they run all these CT cams, trying to see if I had a stroke, or try to see what had my
body.
How old were
you at the time? Do you remember?
I was about,
Or what year, if you can remember that?
Yes, ma'am. It was 2000 and I think 06. No, not 06. It was 1996.
You think it was about 1996?
It was exactly 1996.
Is that when your mother passed?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was a
matter of fact, she passed January 98, right before I had the twins. I think it was 98. But I took sick in that year.
98 or 96?
96, I took sick.
In prison. And so when you went to, keep talking about that life-changing experience.
And after I came back from the hospital, they kept me there. After I came back from the hospital, they wouldn't let me do no work, no nothing. So I stayed in all the time. And I'll never forget, the doctor that came and seen me on the unit, and he took me out, he walked around with me, talking to me. And he asked me what was bothering me. I said, ain't nothing bothering me. He said, no, something bothering you. And at the time, I really didn't think nothing was bothering me at all. And he said, well, did you get a letter? I said, oh, yeah, I got this letter from my kid's grandma. Said my kid was just crying. She taking him to therapy, and they miss me. And he told me, he said, you can't worry about that right now. He said, that's what made you sick. He said, if you keep going on, it's going to kill you.
Wow.
Wow.
So he would come see me so often and just check me and check my blood pressure and look at me. And I never forget, he gave me like about 8 pills. I never forget that. And he said, you're going to be all right after this. And he kept coming, kept visiting me, talking to me and everything. And I never forget the last time he came, he told me, say, now you ready to go home.
And it was true? You were really ready to go home? Mm-hmm. He was ready for you to go home? It was time for you to get out? So he was the one that brought you the good news?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Did you have to take all those 8 pills at once?
Yes, ma'am. He had made me take them.
Did they make you better?
Well, I had them more, I don't know what, I got them moved and everything. I was doing all right, so I guess so. But wow. It was from that letter, from that letter. And you never think that something will bother you so that...
It'll make you sick.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy. And I thought about it, and I said, that's the only thing I thought about. And I was worried about them so hard till I literally got sick.
It made you physically ill.
Mm-hmm.
So when you came out, so that changed your life a lot. So did you make any commitments to yourself that I'm gonna do better? I'm not coming back here again, or how did that change your life?
I said I was going to get my kids. That's what I said.
Yeah. And did you go
And I
get
wasn't
them?
gonna let nobody else hurt them again. I wasn't gonna hurt them. You know, you have all good intentions of doing everything right when you come home.
Mm-hmm.
But when it be hard for you to get through things, and you so used to getting this type of money, and you so used to just getting things, you know, that you can get that's easy. So when you try to go get a job, oh Lord Jesus, it ain't the same.
Can't get a job.
And it wasn't working out. So what I did, I had started back hustling.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't hustling much.
Mm-hmm.
Just to just make it through, and
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, and make sure we got everything. So I put us in the house and everything, got everything done. So I called myself gonna get a job at the, cause I had became a certified welder when I was in jail. So I went to the school to get a job, and I went fill out these applications. And I'm gonna tell you something about people too. I went over there for Red Buff and applied for this job. I got it with my credentials. I got the job.
Being a welder.
And after they hired me, and I went to the welding site, the man wouldn't let me work.
Mm.
And I was asking why. You know, they hired me at the building. They sent me out here to do the weld. So he came to my house. Just came to my house one night. But one evening, it was about dusk dawn. He said, I can't let you work.
Mm.
And we all sitting there looking like, what is he talking about? He said, you'll take my job.
You hadn't even started yet, so why would he say you're gonna take his job?
Because he read my credentials.
And what was it about your credentials that made him say that?
Because I was a certified welder, and I can weld MIG, TIG, and arc.
What does that mean?
Well, I can weld with fine gas.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't that good, so I knew all the welds.
I see.
So he was telling me I was threatening his job. And so he was sending me on another site to go get another job somewhere else.
Did you get the other job?
No, because they kept sending me back over there. And I kept telling him he wouldn't. It was just crazy because he ran it, you know, he was over and everything. And so I go buy these boots, this welding hair, I go buy all this stuff. And I was so upset.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get a break, that's for sure. It's hard to catch a break.
And even upset with all that, I went back to hustling, but I got a job at the waterfront.
Oh, okay. You got a job at the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out?
Good, because I was getting paid a lot of money. So I was...
They let you weld at the waterfront, or did you have to do
No,
something
I was a longshoreman. I was taking a slack and taking the chains off the metal, and then I was doing learning how to be a walking foreman.
Mm-hmm.
They was letting me exercise how to be a walking foreman, even though I was going through courts and everything, going through trials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was working, doing good, but I had to go back to jail.
Mm.
And that's how everything got messed up.
Because I still remember the news part of it because, you know, she got a lot of respect, you know, in the community. A lot of the fellas that mom, dad, people in the community can't reach, a lot of people look up to her. A lot of people, she highly respected, you know, throughout the whole hood, you know. And that always, you know, says a lot to me because if it's some folks that can't be reached, you know, and it's a lot of bad activity about to take place, she'll be able to go and put the fire out on stuff and help people. I done seen her do some mediation over the years, you know what I'm saying, that got a lot of people still alive today, you know what I'm saying, when it come to life and death. That's why I don't really get too caught up on what people say about people in the hood, because the people in the hood are the real ones when the police ain't around and the preachers ain't around and the so-called leaders and whatever, politics, whatever you want to call it, when they ain't around, it's the people in the community that have connection that can be able to go and say, hey, man, don't kill this, man, don't do this. We don't need all this mass murdering in the hood, you know. So, you know, she's one of those individuals that I done witnessed myself that done helped save a lot of lives, you know, and reach a lot of people, you know, in the community. So when I say somebody that does mentoring and stuff like that, that means a whole lot. And like I tell all the time, I say that I told her and I, we broke the pipeline to prison because I have a son that's at Texas Southern University. she have 2 twin daughters that's at Columbia University.
Gone with your bad self. I hadn't forgot about that. We still got 20 minutes.
look.
I wasn't gonna let the story end without talking about your 2 beautiful daughters at Columbia. Okay, I went.
So I told her, I say we broke from the chain gang in '82
All right.
to now, you know, I just in our own, cause sometimes we got to celebrate ourselves. We got to celebrate our own, no matter how small that accomplishment is, you can still see that pipeline to prison being broken, you know. And so anytime, you know, it was big news in the community that she was working at the waterfront. Everybody, oh man, Caroline, she at the waterfront. You know, it's like you wouldn't think that nobody making a public announcement that she at the waterfront, but so many people know that she got the children. She know the children. They going through it. They got love for their mom, and you know the whole nine. Man, it's just a real ghetto story. You know, that's what I salute. I love the real stuff, Miss King.
Yeah, you know,
that's why I like coming on Truth and Justice, because you're gonna get a chance to keep it 100. You know.
Well, I'm so glad to know, Caroline, that you have stopped people from getting murdered in the community. And that you've been a community mediator, and people can come to you when they can't go to the police. Thank you, Caroline. I thought I was a community leader trying to tell people stories and go to all the little events, and I'm going to everything, Black Lives Matter, and teaching them about grand jury and teaching them, volunteering my time, but I ain't stopped nobody from getting killed. One person I did stop from getting killed, but it was only because one of my secretaries stole all my money, and one of the gangsters I was representing said, I'm gonna go kill her. I said, okay, I'll represent you for free. You don't have to go kill her. And she going to court too, still right now. But anyway, so that's about the only person I stopped from getting killed. But Caroline, I'm glad to know that you at least stop people from getting killed in the hood. You know, it is a real ghetto story. But sometimes, you know, the hood has to protect the hood.
That's it.
Yes, got to.
And that can only happen, Miss King, when all else failed. I don't care what a person have done in their life. I don't care what their track record is. This sister right here is credible when it comes to being a real person. You know what I'm saying? You know, a person can look behind the curtain and see what's going on, but at the same time, if a person say, well, man, he over there and this over there and she over there and all this chaos is going on, man, go holler at Caroline. Well, she know who to go talk to. Well, go talk to. It's real mediation that take place. You know what I'm saying? I thank God that, you know, I've talked to so many different individuals and they be like, man, this finna be a killing this weekend. And, well, man, go holler at Lil Art. He went to Wheeler with them and go over here. Well, he over here. And so it's like, man, to be able to sit down and see a person still alive today and their grandkids alive and you just sit back and say, thank God for allowing me to be a person that, man, I tell them all the time, I say, man, if y'all gonna kill each other, just don't involve me in it. But if I'm gonna go home and mediate, man, it really has to be squashed if I'm gonna put my name on it.
And so I know, life up. Yes, somebody mediating can get killed.
Yeah, so I know of those type of stories and I know how close she's been to the real action, you know, frontline type of stuff. So it's not really many sisters that I know that, you know, I may be some sisters, but they ain't on here telling their story. And that's why I told her this, you know, to come on here for the 5thWard series on Truth and Justice with Miss Vivian King is going to be very important because it's a lot of sisters. Because we got some gangster girls out there.
Oh, yeah.
We got some girls in the ward that go harder than the fellas, and they bought it, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted them to be able to see that, you know, it is life after changing your mindset and getting up out of that frontline activity. And it ain't all the time, it don't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? But I needed them to see this sister.
But you have to get out there and talk to them. You know, you have to get out there in it.
How you talk to them, Caroline? What can you say to reach them? Let's talk about that now. So if anybody watches this story, you know, they can say, hey, you can watch this. I mean, I know you got to reach them where they at. So it's kind of hard to just talk about it hypothetically to me. But is there a theme that runs through what you tell them?
The first thing I said, I've been there.
I done it all. You done it all.
And this how I live. And 9 out of 10, they already know.
Right. Because
the parents done told them or the grandma done told them.
Right.
Man, I remember when she used to be, woo. Now look at her.
Right.
You know, so you have to reach them where they at, and you got to tell them it's going to be okay to step out of it. Because a lot of people don't think they can step out of it. They don't think they can get a job and make it. They don't think nobody out there to help them. You know, you got to show love to them.
Right.
And you got to talk to them humble. You got to reach them, and you got to let them know that you care, really care, and love them. You there for them.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they don't have nobody there, not even their own family.
Oh, I know.
So they have to do what they have to do to make it. And most people look down on them, oh, she over there doing this or he over there doing that. But they don't look inside.
They know the pain that they're in. They have to make the choices that they make.
So you have to reach them. You have to look inside of a person. And you can't down them. You can't look at them crazy. You know, I don't care what they done did. You can't do that
Can't judge them.
at all. You got to be there for them. If you're really going to be there, you got to really be there. So them to make it out of it. Because a lot of them don't make it out. A lot of them die right there. Next day you may hear, dog, I just talked to him and he dead. Jesus.
Wow.
So you have to reach them. Some kind of way you got to reach them. So God, keep me. I may ride through. I may go talk. I may go do what else. I'm like, girl, did you hear something? That's when they want to talk. I know when somebody want to talk to me and ask me some questions about something. So I know what to do. I may ride you in the car, talk to you for a little minute, take you to eat. Just listen and give you advice that I've been through.
Right.
Because they need to hear it.
And get them to stop the violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm getting a flash that there's a phone call. So if there's really a caller and it's not a bluff, caller, state your name and ask your question or make your comment.
Hello, my name is Miss Smith, and I was calling to first of all salute Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I love what the show is doing and what it's all about.
All right.
And the co-host, R. Smith, with the 5thWard series for bringing, in special guests for making such a courageous statement to tell their stories. As the special guest today, Miss Carol. And it's very inspirational. It educates people and inspires them. And I really just wanted to call and say I appreciate that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for calling in.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. But let's talk about these girls now. I know we're really proud of these twins in school, and that's not to say anything that you're not proud of your other 8 children, but everybody trying to get their kids to get in Columbia. These movie stars are paying $500,000.
Yeah, they got the college standard of it, too.
Yeah, they paying $250,000 to get children in schools like Columbia. So tell me how with your story, in and out of prison, breaking down in jail, realizing you're keeping your kids in dangerous situations where they're out in the street, and then you take them back, and these girls, these beautiful twin girls, who you showed me their pictures right before we started, who are beautiful girls, how they got in Columbia.
Oh, Lord, it's by the grace of God. They've been smart since they've been here.
They came smart.
They just came
They
that
came
way.
in this world smart.
I mean, not crying, they just came here. God just blessed them to be the ultimate girl.
But they still could have started hustling, selling dope,
Oh, no,
selling
they-
themselves or whatever. They could have got in the game like you at 16.
Their mind was already made up from day one. They was made up. My girls, was right there where it happened, all that.
What you mean?
I'm talking about right there in the hood where it happened. Everything happened, guns,
Everything
fighting,
bad, guns.
everything. And my girls never got involved in anything.
Wow. And they're 19 now.
Yes, ma'am. And that
So
was
what
about the
school
grace
did
of
they go
God.
to?
They went to Jeff Davis.
Is
Then
that
they
a high
went-
school? I'm not from
Yeah,
Houston.
Jeff Davis is the high school, but they went to Hamilton
Middle school.
Middle School.
Is that in 5th Ward?
It's down the street from it.
Over in Heights.
In
But
the
it's a
Heights.
regular public schools.
Yeah.
Are they magnet?
Well, it's a magnet school.
Oh, that's-
Hamilton is magnet school.
Oh, that's magnet for what? What was
Middle
it?
school.
But like, was it for like education? Or was it for arts and science? All
No,
the
it's the whole school is magnet. So it's you have to have certain grades to get in there.
Okay. So it's just for smart kids? Like my daughter went to a magnet school. She went to public schools, but they were like for music and art and something, or science or something.
Oh no, they've been smart in school.
So high school, when they went to Jeff Davis, is that a magnet school too?
They had advanced classes, college classes.
Okay.
They had over there at Jeff Davis.
Did they have the same interests? Because although you showed me their picture and said they're identical, they didn't look identical to me. So, but the doctor told you they were identical.
Yeah, he said some crazy.
But they don't. But the doctor was drunk because they don't look identical.
No,
They're
he
beautiful,
don't.
but they don't look the same.
He crazy.
So, did they have the same interests? What were their interests in high school?
No, they they teamed up on everything. They did mostly they go out in the public, they go to homes and pray for people, they go do volunteer work, they did hotel management.
In high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
They in the band, they were little coaches. They played volleyball, they tried to play they played basketball, then they became coaches because I had one honey, that dark one. Yeah, she danced, she loved to dance. and the other one she loved to play instruments, the bright one. So she played one played the baritone, and the other was the captain of a dancing.
But how'd they get to Columbia? I still don't understand how they got
A
to
straight
Columbia.
student. They graduate in the top of the class.
But did they apply to Columbia? Or did Columbia come after them?
They came after them.
I'm just saying, because who would even think to go to Columbia? Isn't that in New York?
No, in Washington.
Washington, D.C.? Okay.
Down
The
the street
teacher-
from the White House.
It was one of their teachers had told them about Columbia, and Columbia people came and talked to them, and they grades meet all the criteria. If I didn't want them, I want them to go to Rice.
Right, you want them to stay in town.
Yeah, I want them to go to Rice or either UT. UT came, even the military came for them.
That's the one where the government, FBI, was checking you out, right? Didn't you tell me about that?
Like, I'd say, she
Was
said,
that- was it the FBI? Who was it? Was it the
the
DEA?
military came by. It was
Oh, the
like,
military
they
police.
come to see, do they really stay here at this address because they finna get ready to go to Columbia. We want to make sure they stay here. Like it was some funny business going on. I don't know.
Oh, they wanted to make sure that they really stayed in the hood.
Yeah.
But they wanted them. They came for them. I thought they applied for the military. Look, we in the house. I'm in the house. My nephew on the porch, right? And some more people out there. And Dave, he cleaned the yard. So I'm in there on the couch. My nephew say, man, the military here for your kids. I said, they ain't for my kids. I don't know who they for, but they ain't for my kids. He said, I'm serious. They got their names and stuff. So I go in there, did y'all apply for the military? You used to see me talking about, no, but they talked to us at the school. But I said, what you tell them? Talking about, no, mine ain't apply for. So we all go on the porch, right? So it was so funny. The dude was looking. He was looking around the area, he say. And he looked at their test scores. He said, from this neighborhood. So I started laughing like, he said, you need to be so proud. You need to pat yourself on the back. So I didn't know what he was talking about.
Right.
So he started talking to him, telling him about, we're going to give you a full ride. They offer him 30 to 50,000. So my daughter, she stood there, she thought about the money. I said, that's me there, the bright one. She said, how much you say? I'm looking. I heard what he said, but
He said 50,000 or 30,000? Mm-hmm. Which one did he say?
I think he said 50 for him.
50,000.
He said, they're going to give you 50,000. She said, okay.
But that's not enough.
Baby, she just trying to
50,000
see
a year? I mean, those
She
schools
just trying to,
expensive.
because it said the ride. The only thing she think about, if they going to give it to me today, that's what she was.
Or they going to give it to me when I go to school.
So
So it was a full ride scholarship.
So she told him, she said, no, we already got a full ride from District of Columbia. He said, what? He said, oh, you better, that's better than the military. Y'all gonna stay in school, don't miss no boys. He started preaching to him, and so we were laughing. I was laughing on the porch. He said, I said, well, how did you get their test score?
Wow.
He said, it came to us first. I said, what? And I was looking at my baby. She just smiled. He went on back in the house. I said, Lord, look at them.
Wow, you
They
got
know
to be
they-
proud of yourself. They're 19. They don't have any children.
None at all.
Do they have boyfriends?
Nah.
They don't even have boyfriends? They got them up in D.C. You think they got the boyfriends
I bet they
up
don't.
in D.C.?
I bet they
You better
don't.
believe they do.
No, they don't either.
You don't think they have no boyfriends?
They more in they school. They school girls.
But they cute. How they not? You say how cute the pictures, all those glamour shots you just showed me. And you think they're not going to have no boyfriends
No,
up in New
boy.
York? I mean, D.C.? They
And
probably up in New
and
York
look-
on the weekend.
Look, they told me they went to Virginia and Baltimore. I said, how you get over there?
On the subway?
That's what they told
My
me.
daughter, my daughter
wow.
went to school in D.C.
That's what
She
she
still
told
lives
me.
there, actually.
I said, how you get to them states like that? Talking about-
That's right.
Yes,
They all
Lord.
connected.
That's what she told me. I said, I was just looking at them. I said, But look, when I went down there, I stayed almost a week down there. Got broke and everything. They had to send me some money. And then I stayed outside their little house and everything, making sure.
Making sure everything was right and the school's paying for. So what year is this in school for them? Second
The second year.
And they still making good grades?
Oh, yes.
They still making A's?
Hey, straight A's.
Really? In college? In
Wow.
Columbia? Wow, you got to be proud of that, mama.
It's big.
She was telling me the other night, she said, oh, we got to take some tests next week before we come home. She said, now pray for my test scores. I said, listen, I said, okay. So I'm going to do good, but just pray for my test scores because she told me she was tired. She'd been working
What are their
so
names?
much. Charity and Chastity.
Charity and Chastity.
Now, what are they taking up, sister?
Okay, one gonna be a veterinary for 10 years and then a biology, chemistry, and the other one gonna be okay, let me get it right. Forensic sciences.
Forensic sciences. So they're both into the sciences. So they're
Wow.
studying science. So they could change their mind. The first couple of years, you take the same classes in science. You got to have the same basic science background, and they can choose later. You got to be really proud of them.
She told me she want to pack a gun. She want to go out there and check the blood at the crime scene. And she
so they want to be cops.
Yeah, she want to be a CSI lady.
So she could go to the FBI academies in Virginia, I believe Quantico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they need to check that out while they're up there in Columbia.
I was trying to get them to come back down here to Texas.
Well, you know, if you work for the government, you're going to rotate around, especially, you know, you got to go to...
I said, y'all think about changing colleges yet? No, Mom, no.
So how do their 8 siblings feel about them being way in D.C., Washington, D.C., going to Columbia?
Oh, try to be telling them all kind of stuff to do. Talking about, don't get it out your knot while you're up there.
Oh, they trying to make them be bad?
Yeah, I be especially that oldest. My oldest, talking about, go get it out your knot before you come back to Texas. Go get it out, do stuff on up there. Don't tell Mama, just go do it.
Well, I'm very proud of you. I know you've been in and out of jail a lot, but you still got your kids back, and I think this is a story of redemption.
Yes.
For you to have gone to jail from 1982 until till 2007, and to have raised 10 children and to have 2 of them in Columbia. I mean, that's a great feat. And I know other of your kids have probably done other good things, but we got to highlight them because Columbia.
Yes. And they one in Prairie View, my little black princess, Samanisha. Oh yeah, she doing her thing too.
Now, when she graduated, we
got 1 minute.
She said she want to be a FBI agent.
No, they
So you're going to have all those police around you, so they're going to keep you straight, Carol Ann. They're going to make sure you don't do right. We got 1 minute, so we got some closing comments to make. What would you want to tell people to not get into a life of crime? Is there anything any closing words that you would like to say, Carol Ann?
Yeah, definitely not get into a life of crime. But even if you do, you can come up out of it. You ain't got to stay in it. That's one thing. You ain't got to stay in it. You can come up out of it.
Right.
You can live.
You can live. Because that's what it's all about, is living. What you got to say, Art?
I would just like to say that, you know, keep on supporting what we have going on here on Truth and Justice, and you know, take a real good look at this sister story, and all of the sisters that got a chance to check this out, and all the fellas. Make sure y'all let y'all daughters and your nieces and stuff hear this here, because it's not just the fellas in the hood that has been in and out, you know.
It's the women too.
Yes.
And and just women, think about it. When you go to jail, you got to leave your children with somebody, and nobody loves your children like you.
That's right.
And some children don't adapt as well as Carol Ann's children did. Some of them will just stay in a life of crime. They'll feel like you abandoned them. They'll feel like you don't love them. And when you're in prison, people die. You know, things change, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, you know, you can make 1 or 2 mistakes, but we're asking you and trying to encourage you to be educated that the criminal justice system is no joke, and it's no place for you to be. There's all kind of opportunities for us to do better. It's hard all the time. It's hard for me. At 60 years old, it's still hard, but we all can do better. So thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. Thank you, Carol Ann, for telling your story, and thank you, Art, for the 5th Ward series. Awesome. See you next time.
Amen.
Good night. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something